What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I found something so exciting that I was halfway through making a video, and then I saw a tweet, and then I stopped making that video to come and make this video, because this is more exciting. And every colour leader. Also, as a side note, like Akiragawa has been doing absolutely phenomenal artwork for the One Piece TCG since the start of the One Piece TCG. Like right back in Romance Dawn, we had obviously the Roanoa Zoro, which is just a stunning piece of artwork, the alternate art which was done by Akiragawa, and we had Dracula Mihawk, the alternate art in OPO1, and of course we've seen Akiragawa do Luffy as well in OPO2. The alternate art Luffy was done by Akiragawa, so I think it's fair to say that they are... It's weird, they do Pokemon art, but they're probably my favourite One Piece artist, even though they're not my favourite Pokemon artist, but I think their art style lends itself to Pokemon greatly, but One Piece phenomenally. But yeah, sorry, not to get ahead of myself, it's got every colour. It is an every colour leader. It is a 5,000 power for life, red, green, blue, purple, black, and yellow leader. Now, this is the part where you get really excited and you start thinking about all the different decks you can build that you could never build before, because you can start mixing in all different kinds of colours and you get really excited, and this is the part where I ruin it just a little bit, because I haven't told you what the card says. Now, this is a particularly awkward one to translate, and as I record, and I'm sure that will change shortly, but as I'm recording, I've not seen anybody post a translation of this card. However, here's what I'm pretty sure it says. And the first line is a bit Let's start with the second line. The second line's fun, then the first line totally ruins it. Let's start with the second line. The second line's fun. Basically, this leader has every name and every skill. This leader is basically treated as a leader of every name with every trait. According to the rules, this leader has basically every name and every trait. And the reason basically is so that you can use any card you like. Any card you like whatsoever can be used. This leader is treated as a card with every name, trait, and attribute. How cool is that? That's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. That's absolutely wonderful. But I haven't told you the first line yet, and the first line does make sense, it just makes me sad. According to the rules, this leader can only be used in special events. Sorry. This is not an every tournament leader, this is a special event leader. And this is basically where I tell you that what is happening is there are going to be a bunch of events happening in the month of August over in Japan, where they are 16-player tournaments, where you can use this leader, and it is a sealed event. So what happens is you turn up, you get 8 booster packs, and you build a deck from those 8 booster packs, and this is the tournament in which you can use Luffy as your leader. And this obviously makes perfect sense, alright? This makes absolute perfect sense, because this means you can use any card you pull. Any card you get from your 8 packs can be used in this sealed tournament, and I love this. Whoever designed this card is a fantastic, wonderful person who I would very much like to give a big hug. Because they have nailed it, ladies and gentlemen. They have absolutely nailed it. They have figured out very nicely that actually, when you go to a sealed tournament, you end up pulling a bunch of cards you can't use, and that is rubbish. It would be way, way, way more fun if you could turn up and use all of your cards. So that's what they've gone and done. Now, it doesn't actually say which set is being used for this event. Now, I'm assuming it's OPO4 because that's a later set that's been announced, and most of the time in most card games we see that these sealed tournaments do run with the later set. However, I cannot stress this enough, that is not official, that is not confirmed, we do not know for a fact that it's OPO4. But of course, you know, I've said many times, I love the OPO4 Vivi. 5,000 power, 5 life, can't attack, dual colour red and blue, and once per turn you can pay 2, draw a card, and give one of your characters rush. Great, great, great leader. But if you open 8 packs, are you going to get enough good blue and red cards to actually justify being able to play this leader? There is a very good chance that you won't, and even if you get enough red and blue cards, you're probably not going to get your strongest deck. Now, reading the website is Google translated with a little bit of my own Japanese thrown in. It doesn't seem to say that you have to use this. It says, we have prepared 6 color leaders that can only be used in this event. But it doesn't say you have to use this leader. So if you get a bunch of really good blue and red cards and you want to play with Vivi, do it. Because Vivi is a really good leader. But the point is, you now have an option. You can play Classic Sealed. By Classic Sealed, I mean you literally just get the cards you get in your pack and roll. Or you can just take your best cards and then go ahead and play the Luffy leader and just play whatever you want. And this opens up so many options. So, as a little bit of an example, one of the cards we've seeing a bunch of play is Kyros. 3 cost, 5,000 power. If this character would be KO'd, you may rest your leader or a Akiragawa Coliseum instead. And on play, if your leader is Rebecca, KO up to one of your opponent's characters of a cost of 6 or less, and then trash a card from the top of your deck. Luffy is Rebecca. Luffy counts as Rebecca, which means you can activate this skill when your leader is Luffy. Do you see where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen? It's not just that you can play all the different cards, it's that you can use all of these different skills, activate all of these different skills, and it's lovely. Or the Frankie from OPO4. On your opponent's attack once per turn, Dom -1 if your leader has Water 7 type. Up to one of your leader or characters gains 1,000 power during this battle. And Frankie's, of course, a nice 1 cost that you can get rolling nice and early that you may wish to play in a sealed tournament. Remember, sealed tournaments, different things are good than constructed, because you have far fewer options. Or something like Crocodile. On play, Don -2 if your leader's type includes Baroque Works. Place up to 1 card from the top of your deck on top of your life. Oh yeah, that works too. That is what is so cool about this. It is not, and this is why I adore the design of this card. It is partly the fact that it's a 6-color leader, and you can just, you know, play whatever cards you pull. That's good, I'm a fan of that. But it's also the fact that they've got this skill, the second line as I've been referring to it, which says that this leader has every name and every trait, which means you can use it in any way you like, and essentially all the cards are activating, and I absolutely love it. And as I've mentioned in a couple of videos, I'm going to be spending the first 2 weeks of August in Japan. I am going to be entering the lottery, and I genuinely am. I'm going to be entering because it's a lottery system to get into the events. I'm going to figure out which days I can make time to go. I'm going to be entering the lottery to try and go into one of these events. Partly, I desperately want this Akiragawa Luffy card. And partly, how much fun does this tournament sound? Being able to play this Luffy leader and go for every card whatsoever, knowing it's going to work in your deck, that sounds amazing. What happens if I win the event? Alternate Art Sabo. Now this is the super rare from OPO4. It is not a new card, but it is a new artwork. So that's kind of cool, right? We like this one. It's the only Sabo card they've ever actually released. It's got alternate art. Remember, of course, there are actually 3 versions of this Sabo card in OPO4. You've got the regular, then you've got the alternate art, then you've got the manga rare. All of them are featured. But then we've got another alternate art here. It is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000 with blocker. And on play, your characters cannot be KO'd by card effects until the start of your next turn. Then draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. I love this. And I don't need to try and put a Japanese deck together in advance to enter this tournament like you do for the Serial Shanks events. Although I really want to try and do one of those as well. So that sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. The obvious question I'm going to get from a bunch of you after this is, what about us, Wassy? Are we going to be getting this leader? Are we going to be getting these events? Well, one important thing to note is we don't need it. Because, and I'm not saying we're not getting it, just bear with me. Because it is a special leader, which specifically only works at these special events. We don't need to have it. We could never get this card and be fine, although the artwork, seriously, it is legitimately, and I mean this very sincerely when I say it, it is one of my very favourite artworks we've seen in the One Piece TCG so far. And I'm not exaggerating, it genuinely is probably my top 5 artworks of every card we've seen. But we don't need this card. Because if we don't have these events, we don't need this card. So I wouldn't expect this to turn up as a pre-release promo, for instance. However, I think we're going to be getting these events. Now, I have no real reason for thinking this. It's very much just kind of a gut feeling, prediction, call it what you will. I am not saying that we're going to be getting these events, but I'm saying they sound like an awful lot of fun, and certainly if they're popular in Japan, I could see them coming over here. So, no, it's not quite as exciting as it could be. However, I cannot be the only one that wants to play in an informal tournament, an unofficial tournament, where this leader is legal. Because, you know, we can all just totally set these events up if we want to, right? They're not going to be official Bandai event. We could totally do it, and I think it would be fun. For now, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think of this leader. Tell me what you think of these events. Tell me what you think, you know, would be the best combination you could come up with this leader. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.